Are you sick and tired of overcomplicating your options trading? Then this video is definitely one you're going to want to pay attention to. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be breaking down 4 key elements that is going to transition you from research into active trading. And this is exactly how you're going to position yourself as a professional options trader. Sean Kozak here, tuning in again with NeuroStreet. And for the world's best trading education and strategies, be sure to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to turn that notification bell on so that each time we put out videos like this, you can get results. Be sure to give me a thumbs up. That way we know you're engaging with the content moving forward. Now, before we get onto the whiteboard and transition into the screens, I want to talk a little bit about research and doing a little bit of preliminary concepts versus active trading. When you become an options trader, one of the things that happens is you spend a little bit of time deciding on trading the stock versus the option, and there becomes a little bit of a research phase that goes into building positions and understanding how to properly take control of your options trading. Well, we want to make sure that we simplify that because there's a whole lot of complexity that we can just throw aside and never look at because it's not necessary, and we can only focus on the key basics. And the reason why the key basics are so powerful, it's like putting a strong foundation on a house. You build it strong and it stays sturdy. And that's what we're going to do in this video, and that's what our traders do every single week when we trade profitably in the options market. So what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about these 4 concepts. We're going to break down options analysis and why we can transition from doing the research into active trading. Then we're going to break down the difference between technical analysis and fundamental analysis as it pertains to options trading. We're going to go over some really key websites, which I think are really going to help you, especially for researching volatility analysis, and it's going to help you with your trading prep. And these things you're going to want to save, so be sure you're paying attention in the video. And then ultimately, we're going to talk about support and resistance, because support and resistance is the backbone to every strategy that's traded in the options market. Whether you're trading pullbacks, whether you're trading reversals, whether you're trading breakouts or trends, you name it, support and resistance is the foundation. But with options trading, we have to keep in mind that there's directional strategies and non-directional strategies, and we just want to make sure that you have a foundation and a checklist moving forward so that you know how to position yourself as an expert. So with that being said, traders, this is a lot of stuff, the content. I'm going to keep it super simple. We'll jump onto the screens and let's get started. Welcome back, traders. In this video, we're going to be breaking down Options Explained Part 3, and we're going to be going over options analysis. Now, this is actually a nice little breather lesson. I always try to break these videos up into different categories so that we can learn in stages. And ultimately, this video is going to be a very short video. I'm going to be giving you guys some terminology, some details, and then I'm going to be showing you guys some websites that you're going to want to bookmark because it's going to be really important for you to have these websites for us to plan our analysis and to use moving forward in trading options, because we always need to have calendars and research sites and just things that, you know, depending on if you're trading stocks or futures or forex or options, there's always different websites and resources that we use to kind of help us make our jobs a little quicker and more efficient, right? So that being said, this will be a nice breather lesson before we start getting into trading options and then into the Greeks. So a couple things here. Analysis. When we talk about trading, like actually using options as a vehicle for trading, we can profit from both directional and volatility. So there's different ways we can actually profit in the market. And so traders can actually lose when they're wrong on direction on volatility. So you could actually be right. You may think your option is actually going to give you a payout, and then all of a sudden it doesn't because the volatility was also going against you. So as tactical traders, our job is to combine technical analysis and fundamental analysis so that when we're looking at the stock or the underlying asset, we understand the directional purpose of what we're doing, plus we understand the options contract. Because it's one thing about, like, if you're just trading a stock, it's really straightforward. You buy the stock, you sell the stock, right? It doesn't get any more simpler than that. But when you move into the option side of things, you also need to understand what you're doing on the stock and then also what we're doing on the volatility assessment. How are we basically gauging the option contract, the strike prices, in the money, out of the money? We're going to be talking about the Greeks. We're going to be talking about time value. So the concept here is just making sure you know that with options trading, it's not just about the direction that has to be played into what we do here, okay? So when we talk about technical and fundamental analysis, you've probably seen the other videos in the other courses where we talk about stocks and futures and Forex and cryptocurrencies. We spend a lot of time talking about price action. We spend a lot of time talking about volume and, understanding patterns, and then looking at the levels and the indicators, right? These are very important parts of our trading journey and part of what we do. But there's also another aspect is fundamental, right? So a lot of times, if you're going to be, say, trading stocks on earnings, swing trades, instead of playing the stock, you could use options as an alternative. Therefore, you're not just relying on technical patterns, you're relying on fundamental. One of the strategies that we use is we look for average crossovers at key areas of interest. We look at areas where we can look at major turning points in the market, and then instead of us just getting in, we actually look at the sectors and we look at the markets to see, is this a really good play from a top-down approach? And then we use both technical and fundamental reasons, right? So we want to be aware of the banking data calendars. We want to know of earnings. We want to know sector analysis. We also want to make sure that we got an understanding of what's going on, because you don't just want to get into a trade for just any random reason, especially in the options industry, right? It's one thing to get jump the gun in the other assets, but when you start dealing with all these extra contracts and stuff, we just want to make sure that you understand everything before you make those decisions. So let's talk a little bit about technical analysis. We use it to get in with entries and exits. Our job is to use it for timing our execution. So moving forward, when we look at our strategies, when we look at the strategy courses and we look at how we use options for trading, we're going to be using fundamentals and technicals. So the goal here is to have our strategies locked down so that you know what we're looking for, and then we can move to the option chain to find options as an alternative to the stock. And so we're going to look at fundamental as well, because it just depends on the strategy. Most times you're not going to be day trading and scalping option contracts. Like, yes, you can day trade options contracts, but it's probably going to be a little bit more, buy and hold, maybe an entire day or 2 days, an intraday swing kind of speak, because you normally aren't going in and out of options contracts like this. Now that's not always the case. I don't want you to quote me on that as being, hey, Sean said in this video you can't day trade options. You can, but for the most part of our strategies, we look at options on slightly larger time frames, like the 30-minute or the 60-minute chart or the daily chart, right? So we really want to get a good understanding of that so that you know how we're going to be using these to our advantage. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to give you a website page here. So we're going to be looking at teaching you key areas of interest. So when we move into our strategies, one of the things that we do is we look at areas of interest. So our core setups are going to be around supplier demand, supporter resistance. We're going to be looking at trend analysis, momentum analysis. We're going to be looking at directional strategies and also non-directional strategies. And so in order to do so, we want to make sure that you know the news calendars. So there's a couple websites you want to check out. We've got Daily FX, Forex Factory, and fxdaily.com. You can go to any one of those websites, and there's a news calendar on those websites. Okay. You also want to have websites for earnings. So there's a couple websites you could look at. You could look at briefing.com, earnings.com. I also like to look at sector spiders. I'll show you those websites now. So give me a sec. I'm going to pull up Forex Factory here. I'm going to show you these websites. So we'll pull up, that's the Forex Factory. There's a calendar tab up here. You just want to have this on hand so you know what's going on with the economic reports. You could take a look at, I'm going to show you another one that I like, and I have it under the stock tab, but I have it under earnings. And this is a website that I like. It's the Sector Spider Tools Earnings Calendar. So if you go under Tools here, like the main website is Sector Spiders, okay, right here. And this is an ETF website for funds. And then ultimately you can go to tools and there's an earnings calendar section. So I like this one for many reasons. I like the intuitiveness of it. I think it's very clean and neat to understand it. If I click on monthly, I can easily go in and see how many companies have earnings on these dates, right? So if you're going to be taking a position, it's good to just know that. Like we're going into next month. So if we're sitting down here at the 15th, right, we're right around here now. I know that tomorrow I've got one company is releasing earnings, Tyson Foods. Tuesday I've got 9, Home Depot, Walmart, these types of companies are releasing earnings. So if you're going to be trading those stocks and those instruments, you want to know that moving forward. One other major website that you're going to want to take a look at is the Chicago Board of Options Exchange. So you definitely want to
have a handle on the CBOE. This is the Chicago Board of Options, right? This is an options exchange website. Just definitely want to have your pulse on the options side of things. It's good to know that as a company and as a business, if you're trading. There's a lot of tools and resources here, education and stuff. I just think that if you're interested in learning a little bit more about options with us, a lot of our students will go here. One of the things you're going to find under tools and resources, there's going to be calculators. There's going to be trading resources, brokers and stuff like that. You can go in and take a look, fee schedules, option class delistings. Like, to me, honestly, half the stuff I've never looked at because I've never felt the need for it. But traders are like, if you're like me and you're like other traders, 9 times out of 10, you're going to tinker on the weekends or the evenings. You're going to kind of go in and take a look at that. But one thing you want to know here is you've got expiration and holiday calendars. So take a look here. Let's go back for a second. Going to go under tools and resources. So I'm going to click on here. Excuse me. So, and then you've got CFE. That's the Chicago Board of Options, expiration holiday calendars. Then you got the CFE. So this is hours and holidays for U.S. options, U.S. equities, U.S. futures. So if you go down here, U.S. options, you're going to see that these are the trading the holiday schedule for the options market and stuff. You just want to definitely bookmark this. So I always have folders for all the markets that I'm trading. If I'm looking at FX, futures, stocks, options, so any of my major websites in here, I'll always go to in here, and I'll be giving you all those websites. So rest assured, you're not going to be without the information. The other one I like to look at is the Implied Volatility website. Okay, so a couple things here is this is a pretty important website if you're going to be doing volatility analysis. Now, I believe that, with the updated platforms that we have, this was kind of like, the old way of doing it, looking at these IV websites. I'm going to be giving you direct links to some of the other stuff. There's another video we're going to be doing that I'll give you direct hyperlinks to specific search engines for this website. And you're going to be able to go in and do implied volatility versus if I go to options data analysis, and then you're going to go into IV graphs, there's implied volatility graphs and that sort of thing. And what I'll do here is I'll show you, I went and found the link, I paused the video, so if it felt like I cut out there, it's because I did it on purpose. So what I want to do is if you just type in iVolatility /options, it's going to bring you to this. I couldn't find it on the web. What's interesting is I couldn't actually find it on their search engines, but I had it in my notes, and I couldn't go back and figure out where it was. But you don't need it. You just need to have iVolatility.com /options. And I have a video that's going to be going over this information, why it's important, so that you can actually search a stock. Like if I wanted to go and type AAPL, Apple, that's Apple stock, right? So I've got a bunch of stuff on their volatility analysis, and this is the option chain, etc. But this is a website you definitely want to bookmark, especially this iVolatility.com /options URL, because it's something that we're going to be using moving forward in the class and the course, and you'll be able to use it as well. So definitely want to take a look at some of these websites, these links. Another thing you want to do is you also want to understand the FinViz side of things. If you've never been to FinViz, if you've been to our stock course, you definitely know what this is. But if you've never been to our stock course and you're an experienced options trader and you just came directly here, then ultimately the FinViz is a really good place for us to check out sector analysis. And one of the things we're going to do with sector analysis is you want to understand, if you're going to be trading stocks and using options, do you have fundamental analysis to help you with that play? So we'll get into the strategies when we start going into the other classes. But a good example would be is you want to be trading, good candidates in good strong sectors, right? So if I'm looking at the last month, I'd want to look for stocks in the strong sectors. The last couple of weeks, one of the strongest sectors has been energy sector, right? The energy sector has definitely been a lot stronger. So it's just good to know that these are websites that you're going to want to look at, and I'm going to put that in the options folder actually. I think it's important. So make sure you bookmark these websites that we've looked at, the holiday schedules, iVolatility.com, the sector scanners. This is actually free. You can just go to finviz.com, go to groups, And definitely it'll give you that. And we'll go over those more in the strategies classes when we start going into, you know, finding opportunities for trading. But I just want to prepare you to have these websites. Make sure you check out the earnings calendar here as well under options. So there you go. And have a news calendar, right? Definitely want to have a news calendar. Okay. And so we're going to get into that. We're going to start talking a little bit more about that. But the purpose for this is that when we start getting into trading, right? Because moving forward, we're going to be segueing now more into discussions on getting ready for trading, which involves looking at options trading, looks at options Greeks, and then talking about strategies. Okay. So whenever we're looking to take a trade, we want to look at, you know, are we bullish? Are we bearish? Are we trading specific areas? Is it based off direction and volatility? What are we looking to do? Are we looking to buy, sell, etc.? So moving forward, the whole purpose of options is not to redefine strategies. The purpose of options is to use option contracts on strategies that we already have. And that's the whole purpose moving forward. So what I'm going to do is I want to show you a good example, okay? I'm going to pull up TC2000 because I've got a lot of stock scans in here. And let's say I wanted to pull a sector scan, okay? And I want to know, you know, technically the strongest stocks right now. So if I wanted to, or even earnings, let's say I wanted to go to earnings and I wanted to find stocks that have upcoming earnings, right? These are all strategies that we use in the stock course. Okay, these are all strategies that we're talking about. Large cap stocks, right? Like if I want to trade large caps and I don't have the money to trade large caps, or you don't have the money to trade them, instead of you taking a trade on, say, a large cap stock, you could buy the option contract. You could participate in an options day trade. Nothing wrong with that. If you're going to be swing trading, we can do that as well. So the concept here would be to not reinvent the wheel, but look at preparing to use options as an alternative to just trading the stock. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to talk to you about different strategies, okay? So I'll give you an example of a strategy we're going to be looking at. Now, we're going to be talking about different types of strategies. So we've got strategies on sectors, large caps, earnings, averages. Like I'll give you an example on the averages, okay? I want to go in and just take a look at the parabolic scans here. This is a parabolic scan we have. And if I want to go in and take a look at TGIF, okay, TGI, okay, Triumph Group. Don't even know what it is. I don't even know if it is, and I don't even know if it's optional. Yes, it is. So TGII, this is a parabolic scan for shorts. So what this means is I could be looking at shorting this stock as it came into a parabolic surge. This is a scan we look for when stocks come into their 200 period average on parabolic movement. You can see they gap up into a major area of resistance. We could look to sell, we could look to be a buyer of puts right here. Right here, we could look to be a buyer of puts. Very, very important. Okay, instead of being a seller of being a short seller, we could buy puts on that option. Okay, if we take a look at the next environment, same thing here. This one came right up, exact same thing. This one here came right up shorted. These are daily charts, so that's a pretty solid move from $10 to $8. Get an option contract there, you make it $2 on the option trade. You can understand that if you're trading options, you're getting leverage and you're participating in the stock. Now, the whole point is to not just rely on one strategy, it's to have a ammunition to do so. One of the other strategies we look at is the average cross. The average cross has nothing to do with just relying on standard option averages. Like there's no edge to just trading a moving average strategy. If that was the case, everybody in the world would be trading it. But what a lot of people don't know is how to find the opportunities. When we do hit the scans, it's a great example here. When we do hit the scans, this is a bullish and bearish swing scan. So these are 60-minute scans right here. Okay, I'm looking at these. This is a cross bull and a cross bear scan, and we've built this all in TC2000 so that if you want to use this as a scanning platform, it's literally very inexpensive. We built all these workspaces for you. You can come in and you can scan and find the opportunities. And the reason we do this is because we have plenty of time to prep for us to help you. We can easily help you prepare to look for trade opportunities, and then you just learn how to use the option chain to find opportunities. So let's say I wanted to go in and I wanted to take a look at this stock, okay? Well, first and foremost, I would want to know it's a bull scan. So I would look and see, do I really want to trade this stock? It's a 60-minute chart. So I'm going to go into the 60-minute, and I'm really not an interested trader here. Even though I have a cross meeting my scan, I'm in a downtrend on the bigger time frame. So this would be something that I wouldn't be participating on because this stock is very bearish in nature. Now, that could change, but I don't need to play that. This one here, I wouldn't touch it. Very messy stock. This one here, messy stock. This one here is an interesting decision. Okay, and I'm going to talk about it. This one here is giving us a crossover right up here, but it's nowhere near where I'd want to be trading that crossover. I want to be trading the crossover as it's coming out of major areas. So as the stock came up here and our cross, we would have got a trigger here. Our scanner would have triggered that back in November 2nd. Our scanners would have had this stock on that scan here. And then we can look and we can see that that is off the 200 period average and the 100 period average. And at that time, we were in an uptrend. So this is exactly how we would play this stock. We would look for the cross, and instead of us buying the stock, we would buy the option. And that's the whole point, is our strategies are not changing. We're just using the option contract as an alternative to it. Take a look at this one, Invesco. Same thing, I wouldn't touch this stock because we're getting a crossover in no man's land. Not interested. Let's take a look at the shorts. Messy stock, wouldn't touch it. I don't like a stock that looks like that. I don't even pay attention to it. Same thing here. I wouldn't even touch the stock. So this is great. We wouldn't hit the swings. Wouldn't, you know, and this is coming in off Friday. Friday was a quieter day. Doesn't mean you're going to hit this strategy here every single time we get on the swing. This is a 60-minute chart, right? So we're going to wait for opportunities. Another thing too is if you wanted to look at the average reversals, you know, come the market open, this is going to hit. Same thing with sectors. We could scan the sectors, okay, and then look for the strongest stocks in those sectors to trade to the long side, off support areas, off key areas of interest, right? So very, very key stuff, guys. We're going to be talking about this in more detail. And then what we'll do is we'll go in and we'll actually look for the opportunities, and then we can just come over here and say, look at our option chain. Right? We want to play the option. We come in, we use our option chain, we find the opportunity. Or we could use the option chain here on TC2000, get ready. And this has a great simulator. So even if, let's say, you wanted to start trading options, but you weren't ready to start doing it on a live account, you could easily start trading options in TC2000s as a simulator. I think it's an absolutely amazing place to practice and get started, because there's nothing worse than going out and rushing the process in a live account before you're ready to start trading. Yes, we all want to make money, but first get good with the platforms, get good with the tools, get good with the process. And that's why I'm talking about this now, is because TC2000 is a go-to scanning platform for our stock program and for our options platform. But if you're going to be trading live accounts, unless you're in the US, you can't open up your brokerage with them. So you'll most likely be either using, say, TradeStation, you'll be looking over here, and you'll be understanding how this works, right? We'll be going in here and we'll basically be, you know, looking at which option contract we want to trade and why, and I'm going to teach you that in the upcoming videos. We're going to look at the Greeks, we're going to look at some of the different aspects in the chain and pick out the best option contract for trading. And so this is really important because whether you're using, you know, different platforms, the strategies are the same. And we teach those strategies in the strategy course, in the education videos, where we teach you the indicators and the setups and so forth, right? So looking forward to the next video, guys. This is a bridge video. This is there to kind of give you a little bit of a break, lots to learn, but I wanted to kind of gear you around getting ready to learn the strategies and start getting familiar with it so that we can start bridging the gap and getting you ready for trading as we move into the trading lessons and into the Greeks lesson. Okay, traders? So take care, and we'll see you in the next video.
Welcome back, traders. Now that we got you from transitional options analysis into active trading, I know you got a lot of value out of this video. Now, before we move forward, make sure you check the links below this one, because there's a whole lot of other content in this series you don't want to miss. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button and share this video with a friend so they can get results just like you. If you have any questions or need any assistance, ask them below, leave a comment in the chat box, and we'll definitely help you moving forward. Take care, traders, and we'll see you in the next video.